Not sure if you're going to be able to see it or not. What I'm doing is taking these brackets off that held the hydraulic um, splitters on it, the hydraulic heads where you plug in um, your equipment. I've broken this one free, and just gonna pull this one off, get these things off of here. Why I'm doing this is because I need to get onto this bolt, and it would be a lot easier to pull down on it than it would be to try and pull up on it. Now, if I can't do it, if taking these brackets off don't allow me to do it, I will just pull up on it, but hopefully I can do that. So I'll bring you back when I get them off. One of the things I wanted to show you was there's 3 bolt holes in this, but only 2 of them were used. Those 2 bolts right there, the plate sat like this. This 3rd bolt hole was never used, plugged up with dirt, and there's a lot of dirt in there. Now what I'm going to do is just take these over to the parts washer and clean them up after I take them off. I'm probably going to take both of them off, and I'll kind of mark them as to right and left as I take them off. Okay, so what I've got is that breaker bar on there. Now I'm going to put a pull pipe on it. I'm going to get a lot of swing on this thing. So again, hopefully I can get this thing what my issue is the breaker bar is going to hit into the other one. Let me see. Let me see if I can get that other one off and lower down first before I try and break this one off. Since I've got the one bolt. Sorry, I'm picking the tripod up to move this thing over. This one bolt is loose already, so what I've got to do is break this bolt loose. Let me try and break that one loose first and see what happens. If I can get that off, maybe I can swing this down out of the way, because what it's doing right now is it's coming down and hitting on this. So let me see if I can get it. Yeah, this whole thing is turning into a fiasco. I tried to put it on there and it kind of slipped off, so I'm going to have to heat it, soak it with penetrating oil, probably reheat it again, and to get it off. The other thing is I tried turning these adjustment shafts. What it does is spinning these things. You're supposed to be able to spin it with these. Good luck with that. I can't. I tried putting a wrench on it and turning it, and nothing. Once I get that off, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna pull them pins and take them out and try and work on them separately in a big vise and get those things out of there, or get them loosened up and spinning. Again, I'm not sure if this 3-point hitch will ever be used, but it'd be nice to have it in working condition. But I'll bring you back. What I'm trying to do is I'm getting some heat into this 3-point hitch, and what I'm going to do is try and get a little penetrating oil to soak in there. Hopefully, just using the small torch, I can get enough heat in there to loosen her up a little bit so that the penetrating oil will absorb into it. And then I'll let it sit for like half an hour or so, and come back and really heat it up and see if I can break that. I'm not going to show all of this. I'll probably edit it out just so that the video isn't long. me, kind of watching me heat this up with a torch is like watching paint dry. I'm going to shut you off and I'm going to show you me doing the other side. Okay, this is the other side. Now this is that lower bolt, and this side might be a little more effective because I'm actually able to spray down into the back side of the threads on this thing. So hopefully, given gravity is because it's kind of pointing down, and being able to kind of pool the oil in there, heating this thing up will allow it to, and again, what I'll do is I'll bring it back when, probably in like half an hour, I'm going to heat it up again. I'll probably bring the torch over and heat it up with that, and then try and break these bolts free. One of the things that I did is I put the bar between there to kind of stabilize these two swing arms, to keep them from swinging too much when I'm putting the wrench on it, torquing it. But I'll bring it back. Right after I shut the camera off the last time, I came over here with a box end wrench, put it on it, and the thing broke right free. Now, after I did that, I went back over to the other side. Sorry for the, gotta move the tripod. Went over to this side, the one that I had just heated up when I shut the camera off, and that does not loosen up. I tried putting the wrench on it, pulled out on it, even tried to hit the wrench with a hammer, but it didn't loosen up. So I'm going to try and reheat this again, put a little more oil in it, and then wait for it like the half hour. Then I'll come back over here with a big torch and heat it up. Okay, I thought I had it on record. What I did is I didn't. I had it on taking a picture. What I did is heated it up with a torch, and I got it to move. I put the box end wrench on it and hit it with a hammer. But I got to tell you, it's fighting me every bit of the way. I heated it, soaked it with more penetrating oil. What I'm going to do is reheat it again with a torch. You can see how far, hopefully you can see how far I got that out. But it's really fighting me every step of the way. I mean, it's not where I can put a wrench on it. Well, I haven't put the big breaker bar on it. But the box end wrench, I can't move it by hand. I gotta hit it with a hammer to get it to move. She's fighting every bit of the way. I'll bring it back. Yeah, I just heated it again with a torch, and let's see what happens. Little one. We'll bring it back by 14. There it is. She fought me every inch of the way. Not understanding why, but let it cool off. I'll put a set of calipers on it and see if it is maybe a little oversized or something, but I'll bring you back. One of the things I got to do is pull these pins out of here, because I've got to get this handle off, because when I'm taking this yoke apart, this part is going to come apart, and that's attached to the rod, so I've got to let it drop down through out of this other part of the yoke, so I've got to get them pins out. I had actually started trying on this side and was having issues with it, but now I really got to get the thing out of there. So let me bring you back to that. Well, I got one of the handles off. The pin it's just it's a roll pin, and it's just it was severely rusted in there. Let me work on the other one. I'll set the camera up on the tripod to do it. I'll bring it back when I get it. So I have tried everything to get that thing out of there. I've heated it. Somebody had drilled down through the top, and I actually drilled down into it farther, thinking maybe there was a set screw that they put in it. Nothing. So this is my last resort. I threaded the hacksaw blade in there, and hopefully I can hacksaw this thing enough that I can take a chisel and break it off. I don't think that I'm going to be able to hacksaw all the way through the pin, because I think the blade is going to hit before that happens. Okay, well, at least it's off. What I've done is put a jack underneath this arm. And I'll pull this, the back side of the bolt is out, so let me pull this one off, and there's a, well, I'll bring you back and show it to you. How that thing is held in there is there's a sleeve in there, so you must have to put this thing in there and then press the sleeves in around it. I'll bring you back. So as you can see, the 3-point hitch is disconnected and they're down. Now I'm gonna bring you back and show you why the bolts on the right hand side of the tractor were easier to get off than the bolts on the left hand side. So here are the 4 bolts, and as you can see, 2 of them had never sees on them and 2 of them didn't, and the ones with the never sees were on the right hand side and were a lot easier to get off. The inner one, the one on the lower part of that arm, was very easy to loosen. Now the other one, I had trouble loosening it, but as soon as I heated it a little bit, sprayed some penetrating oil on it, I was able to break it right free. The ones on the left hand side, you saw me struggling with them big time, but I'll bring you back. So I told you that I would explain to you about those sleeves. So what it is this universal yoke is actually held in by 2 sleeves, one on each side. So what you have to do is probably hammer it out, hammer against it. As you can see, there's a larger side on it, and then the smaller side. So what you would do, hammer this, hammer into this, pop that sleeve out of there, which would allow you to get that yoke out. And then when you have to put it back in, you would have to press that sleeve back together. Now you could probably do it with like a large C-clamp around this thing, unless you had it off, and then you could put it in a press. But there is that sleeve arrangement on that yoke. One of the things other things I'm going to try and do is get this PTO lever shaft out of here. Now I kind of thought it was well, it was pinned in there. This pin was in there, but maybe it's seized up a little bit. Let me go get a hammer, and what I'm going to do is get like a rubber mallet or something and hammer on the edge of this to see if I can break it free. It's probably just rusted, but I'll bring it back. Might have to put a little heat on it to get it to break free. I'm going to soak it with some penetrating oil, probably going on to something else. What I'm going to do, probably going to, well, I was thinking about taking these side panels off. Just to kind of reduce the weight a little bit, be able to clean up in there too. Let me think about this and I'll bring you back. Took me a while to break this thing free. I had to get it with a 1/2-inch ratchet. Well, I had to get in there and dig it out with a screwdriver to get all the dirt out from around the bolt to begin with. Kind of what I'm hoping is if I get this one panel off, it'll slide up that shaft for the PTO engagement shaft. And it did. One of the things I kind of wanted to show you was all that dirt that was in there. Yeah, I want to get that dirt cleaned up before I ever take that housing off so that I don't drop anything down into it when the housing does come off. I still haven't figured out how to get the shaft off yet, though. This thing is really seems to be stuck onto this rod, and I've got to assume there's no other way to get it apart. Yeah, one of the things I noticed is this little plate up in front, and it's an adjustment. Yeah, I'll pull the manual out. I didn't know what it was. Yeah, let me pull the manual out and look and see what that is for. I thought it might be just an access to kind of see. I don't know how. I'm going to have to look at the manual to figure out how these things pivot inside. Yeah, let me look at the manual. Here's what I'm going to try and do is take this entire unit off as one unit. The hydraulic selector valves, this housing, the levers, everything is going to try, I'm going to try these tubes, everything is going to try and come off in one unit. What I did is there was a bolt back in here that I pulled out, half-inch bolt. Now I've got 2 3/8 ones in the front that I need to take off. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swing the gantry crane over here and hook a sling around it, so when I take it off, because it's going to be I don't know how much that valve assembly weighs, the hydraulic valve assembly weighs, but it's going to be kind of awkward with the where it is and the levers being cantilevered over like that. So I'll bring the gantry crane over just so when I unbolt it, it doesn't fall off. Okay, so I've got these loosened up. Hopefully this is all there is. Well, not hopefully. It's all that I see that there is. I got the one in back. There's these two in front, and the two from the linkage here, and the thing should be free. Let me grab a pry bar and try and pry up on it. Back with a pry bar. And it looks like it should be free. Okay. Let me figure out what those things are. They might be just tubes, and I might have to just pick it straight up off of there, but let me bring it. One of the things that I noticed is this plate, and it's directly above those tubes that you saw while I was trying to take it off. So I'm assuming what I've got to do is pull these straps and stuff off, pull that plate off, and I bet you there's a connection in there to disengage those tubes so that they stay down into the top. I've got to assume that they probably go down into a oil galley housing so that that the pressure feeds into it. But I'm probably gonna end the video here, and we'll begin the next episode with me taking that plate off and seeing if I'm correct in that. If not, I've got to go to the manual.